Good morning, everyone. How's it all going? Today, I am releasing the most shocking video ever in the history of content creation for Raid, or even for gaming, right? I've realized something that might be possible. Have you ever wondered why Raid, for a mobile app game, is getting slower and slower? You might think it's just bad coding, but bad coding does not make your mobile app game play on a gaming computer so slowly, right? Especially when it was good before. Nothing has fundamentally changed about Raid, right? The graphics is the same. There are a few more champions, but at any given instance, right? If you go into arena or whatever, right? You're fighting the same four champions using the same game mechanics against the same four champions, right? The mechanics and the number of champions hasn't changed. It's not like World of Warcraft, right? Where on release day, you're sharing an instance with 40,000 other people, and that demand can, really, really escalate. But this is not true. This is not true for Raid, right? So why is the game so slow? Why is it so laggy? Why do we need maintenance? That often, right? It is really not clear, and people joke about this, and people say, "Oh, it's because they spend so much money on graphics generation and not on gameplay stability." That would be true if it has always been really, really bad, but it hasn't always been. I remember last year, when I started playing in February, all the way to like November last year, I could run Raid like for 3 or 4 days straight in instances, right? Overnight runs, and nothing would happen. Everything would be fine. The last run would be just as fast as the first run. But the problem is, now I barely do overnight runs simply because after about 5 to 10 runs, it will get really laggy, right? And it's really unpredictable. Sometimes I can do 50 and it's fine. Sometimes two or three can make it laggy. I don't understand why that would be. Same 4 or 5 champions running the same things, right? Nothing has really changed. So, you know, I'm really keen to think about why this might be the case. Now, one possibility which really excites me actually as a geeky person, right, is what happens? Now, change your mind. Change the way you think, right? And I'm not accusing Plarium of doing this. All I'm saying is what happens if Raid, the game, is not actually a game? What happens if all of this is fake? If all the mechanics are only a front to distribute cryptocurrency mining to each individual app, right? Think about that. Rather than mining cryptocurrency centrally, and even Plarium probably doesn't have the computational resources to do that at sufficient economic scale, and never mind the energy consumption and how that raises attention to the authorities. What happens if they distributed the mining algorithm to each individual RAID application in all our computers? This is entirely possible. Distributed algorithms, distributed calculations have been around for 50, 60 years. Started famously, as one example by NASA when they were trying to detect, stars and asteroids, but they didn't have the supercomputer capacity to do this. So they asked for help from all the American citizens, and they distributed this over the Ethernet or the internet. And they only distributed, the basic code and some of the data, right? So when you agree to help, you get a part of the data of the huge night sky, and you look for stuff, right? And that's why some amateurs also detected some quite amazing events. Now, of course, distributing cryptocurrency mining is much, much more sophisticated, but it's entirely doable. Distributed computing is entirely doable. Now we have distributed artificial intelligence, whereby we splice a large neural network, for example, into tiny components that can be distributed anywhere. They do local learning, so all the hard work and heavy lifting is done locally, right? So what happens is the local representation learns a local kind of representation of what the answer might be. So it could be the weights of a neural network, it could be the cryptocurrency hash or something, and they only send that back. So the key point of that is all the energy consumption, all the computational burn is done locally in your iPad, in your laptop, in your gaming PC, on your mobile phone, and they only send back the answer. The answer is a tiny amount of data that can be embedded inside something to do with gameplay, right? It could be the results of a shard pool, right? That is actually coded message for cryptocurrency answers, right? So what they've actually potentially can do, right? Using the right language here, potentially what one can do is design a game, have it burn up huge computational resources, constantly need maintenance, right? Constantly need server resets, constantly need you to burn up all your resources, burn up all your electricity, heat up your screen. And all it's really doing is running cryptocurrency mining algorithms, a distributed version, right, in the background, and sending back the compressed answers embedded in tiny amounts of data like, oh, why didn't my gear upgrade to 16 after 3 million silver? Well, why would you have to keep running all these RNGs, right? Why do you need to do so much RNG, so many calculations in order to just do something really, really simple and actually most of the times useless, right? Think about it. Is the game really actually gameplay, or is it actually doing something else? And if it was doing something else, what would be the most profitable thing to do, right? And right now, the most profitable compute you can do is cryptocurrency, right? So, I don't know what you want to make of that. I think it's a brilliant and shocking idea. I think if it was true, or if it was some version of that, wouldn't that be super cool? I think it's super cool. I think it's a marvelous idea. I think if they haven't done this, they should get in touch with me and turn Raid into a cryptocurrency mining algorithm and actually give some of the proceeds back to the community, right? Because the community has suffered long enough. They deserve something back. And I don't mean 100% extra on the mini packs. I don't mean 30% off on void shards. I don't mean that. I think there is so much potential to Raid. Raid has really, great outreach. It's reached everyone in the world during this time of COVID crisis. And I think that so much more can be done with it. Oh, not Lizardsman Epic again. These hard ones mine a lot more crypto than others, okay?